Take a look at this brand new video from U.S. Central Command showing American forces launching a brand new massive wave of strikes in response to Iran's aggression. The strikes hit more than 300 regime targets just over the weekend, including missile and drone sites, naval assets, and ammunition depots. And Iran's rogue regime, or as I call it, radical Islamic, is threatening to keep striking ships in the Strait of Hormuz until, quote, the end of U.S. interference in the region. Yet that's why you call these guys terrorists. President Trump posted this about an hour ago. The Hormuz Strait is open, and it will remain open, with or without Iran. We are reinstating the Iranian blockade, so named because it is only stopping Iran ships or customers from entering or leaving. Hence the money supply. All other countries will have fair and open use of the strait. All of that from the President of the United States. And he also spoke with Fox and Friends this morning.
They're professional negotiators. That's all they are. I don't even call them good at it. They haven't gotten anything. They got nothing from me. But if you look, for 47 years, they've been tapping people along, presidents. Every president got tapped along, didn't do anything, and they became more and more powerful.
Senior correspondent Mike Tobin reports from Tel Aviv. Mike.
And here's the lead is that the president posted that the blockade is back on. In fact, the president posted that the U.S. is now going to be known as the guardian of the Hormuz Strait and charge 20% of all cargo shipped as reimbursement for providing security. Now, Iran has made it clear that they're going to fight that.
We will in no circumstances allow the United States to interfere in the management of the Strait of Hormuz, and we will not allow it to do so. The armed forces of the Islamic Republic of Iran will deal forcefully with any disruption to commercial vessels and oil tankers used by this invading and pirate U.S. military outside the route designated by Iran.
Now, the U.S. has carried out 4 rounds of strikes inside Iran since Tuesday. They include targets used by Iran to menace shipping in the Strait, missile and drone launchers as well. Iran responded by firing at neighboring countries and said Bahrain, Jordan, Kuwait and Oman were not their targets. They were shooting at U.S. targets in those countries. Now, since Tuesday, Iran has now struck 4 civilian commerce ships. And these are ships that traveled outside of the route designated by the Islamic Republic. Mark Wallace with the think tank United Against a Nuclear Iran says Iran will fight to keep control of the strait.
The control of the Strait of Hormuz and their effort to try to control that is their desperate effort to regain or try to assert regional hegemony, control in the region. And I think that as long as this regime is in power, they're going to try to exert whatever leverage they can. And the Strait of Hormuz is really their last gasp because their other tools are gone.
And CENTCOM just announced that for the first time in U.S. history, sea drones were used to attack an enemy. These one-way attack drones hit the port of Bandar Abbas. We're told that the targets are a ship repair facility and a submarine. Harris?
Just a point of fact, I believe the sea drone or something like it was used to make that rescue when our pilots went down. Is that something similar?
Correct. That is a company that is down around like the Texas, Louisiana, the area that makes those drones.
Yeah, amazing. Mike Tobin, thank you very much. And focus with me now, Matthew Whiz Buckley, founder of Top Gun Options, and he's a Top Gun grad, obviously, a huge fighter and a decorated F-18 fighter pilot. Great to see you today. Let me just ask you about this next phase of what really doesn't feel like a ceasefire anymore. I mean, we're at about 126, 27 days of war against Iran, with some ceasefire-y moments. But how would you describe what's happening right now?
Good to see you, Harris. And we're definitely punching back a lot harder. There are a lot more target sets. And remember, Harris, you nailed it. These radical Islamic terrorists aren't using any sort of, quote, ceasefire downtime to reflect on their poor life choices, or maybe we should get along and figure something out. They are using the downtime to rearm from Russia, from China, and to get Gucci targeting from those folks as well to be able to strike the Fifth Fleet headquarters in Bahrain or Kuwait or Saudi Arabia. So we are hitting them harder, but as you and I have talked a couple times in the past, we got to finish this job. And real quick, Harris, like Mike was talking about, The radical Islamic regime is targeting civilians. The folks on these merchant vessels, mainly men, are civilians, and they're getting targeted, and some of them are getting killed. These are civilians, folks, and they are from around the globe. So I feel bad for all these mariners as well. Radical Islamic terrorists are targeting civilians during this.
Look, I want to hit something that you just said, because we don't hear about those deaths. You know, it sounds like they're just these inanimate objects, these ships. But with civilians on them, when Iran hits, that's deadly.
Harris, you nailed it. Could you imagine having your son on one of these ships and seeing this go on right now? These are innocent civilians that the Iranians are targeting. One thing I want to cover real quick, Harris, and I think former Governor Bush put this out. We need to keep an eye on our flank down here. I live down here in God's waiting room, Boca Raton, but reportedly there are hundreds of drones down in Cuba. Now, I was based at Naval Air Station Key West, and we have Homestead. We have Homestead Air Reserve Base. We have CENTCOM down in MacDill. Well, we're punching overseas, Harris. I want to keep an eye on our southern flank because the Cubans aren't friends of ours either. And you know, China and Russia would love nothing more than to potentially enable them. So we do have hundreds of drones off the coast, 90 miles from Key West, that are a potential threat. So we got to keep two eyes peeled here.
That's critical. And of course, we've got our eye on their economy in Cuba. And you've got Secretary of State Marco Rubio then carrying out the orders of President Trump to make sure we keep our boot on 100%. Their neck in terms of that economic situation. We have more from the president on Fox this morning. Let's watch.
They have no chance. Look, we have them. We have them in the run. Most of their equipment is gone. Their anti-aircraft stuff is gone. We hit them very hard last night. Every time they send a drone, we hit them very hard. But we had a deal. What nobody knows, we had a deal. It was a done deal. And then they broke it. They always break it. We've had 10 deals with these people. And so we're just going to hit them very hard. And we're going to keep the strait, and we'll probably run it. We'll become the guardian of the strait. Maybe we'll call it the guardian angel of the strait. And we should be reimbursed for that. When we do that, we're going to be reimbursed because the other nations are very wealthy. They're on our side.
Quick thought on that, and then I want to move to the next.
Well, Harris, you probably did too. I've read The Art of the Deal, and the president likes putting some of this stuff out there and driving the fight. As a fighter pilot, you drive the fight. You don't react to somebody else. You actually drive the fight, and I think that's what the president is doing there. But as you alluded to, hitting him in the pocketbook, economic warfare is definitely part of this attack and parallel approach.
I mean, the U.S. blockade is working. Again. All right, I want to get to this. The U.S. Secret Service is responding to Fox because we put a request out. We want to know more about Iran's reported assassination plot of President Trump. And the Secret Service says our most important responsibility is safeguarding the president and all of our protectees. While we do not confirm or comment on intelligence matters, we consume information on a global level to effectively execute our protective operations. What do you take away from what's happening, the very latest on protecting this president?
Well, obviously, the Secret Service is very good at what they do. Not only domestic folks have tried to kill the president, which is a whole separate conversation, but obviously he is #1 on the kill list, probably for a couple of countries, and they are doing a bang-up job, the Secret Service. But Harris, the new Gucci Air Force One probably didn't have all the bells and whistles on board, maybe, and some folks in the media decided to blast that out there, and you saw what happened. He had to use the backup aircraft.
Yeah, that's interesting. Some folks in the media, as you put it, not always on everybody's side in terms of safety, unfortunately. It would appear they're welcome to change at any point. Whiz Buckley.
Standing by.
I've taken to calling you Whiz now, your call name. Hopefully we know each other well enough for me to do that. Good to see you.
You bet, Harris. God bless. Thanks.
God bless. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.